Hi everyone, quick vlog installment for the algorithm today. Um, from one of my earlier videos, I touched on an incident, a case in Adelaide in Australia of a couple that had a domestic dispute, and the wife unfortunately decided to jump on the bonnet of the husband's Amarok ute, and he obviously, I actually pretty much found out the whole story yesterday from the paper because he was sentenced yesterday. So the story goes, they have the domestic dispute. He's obviously trying to withdraw from the situation. She jumps on the bonnet and he drives some way down the road and he reaches an intersection. She's still on the bonnet. I mean, these people are Olympians. These people they don't know anything else other than to push their bodies, right? So you can it's a bit Hancock, if you've seen that movie. It's a little bit Hancock if you're dealing with two Olympians. So she then this is what he says, she dismounts from the car and she goes to open the passenger side door. And at that point, he takes off, speeds off, probably at speed, must have been. She trips, she gets dragged under the car, and he only stops when he hears a thud. Very unfortunate. So anyway, he was sentenced yesterday. He received a fully suspended 16-month sentence and a $100 good behaviour bond. Was it a good behaviour bond? Let me just check that. I know the 16-month sentence is right. 2-year good behaviour bond for which you'll pay just $100. I do like how the journalist put in just $100. That is pretty much just voicing everything that we're thinking, right? So yeah, he was sentenced. The grandparents in this situation are just the most dignified people you'll ever hear of. They haven't received an apology from this man yet. I have not. That's the one thing that they said in their victim impact statement that really hurt them. They didn't even get an apology. But they're obviously just trying to move past that for the grandchildren. He's lost his license for 5 years, so someone's going to have to pick up all those duties. And we know that often falls on the grandparents. So they need and they want to have a workable relationship with their son-in-law. And I mean, amazing people. So that closes that chapter of that particular nasty incident. What else did I want to talk about quickly? Anything? I was at the gym and I listened to Jen Coffindaffer's latest Break the Case podcast. I like Jen. Yeah. For like a law enforcement FBI person. I don't agree with everything she says. In fact, I agree with very little. But she's just such a spunk. She's just so bright and chirpy. And when she's talking about some really dark stuff, she's so cheerful. And I like that. And the other thing that I like is that she's really dedicated to the cause of finding missing people, specifically missing children. Because like where I'm from, it's a very small place. And if someone goes missing, so if anyone goes missing, you hear about it. But if a child were to go missing, it would dominate the news cycle for a long time, for a very long time. And even now, the cold cases of missing children, they resurrect them pretty often. So I just think it's really admirable that in a country of 300 million plus people, she hasn't lost the zeal to maintain that focus. that she was talking about Sebastian Rogers today. I only know what I've heard about that from her channel. And she had a gentleman on there by the name of Doug Bishop, and he too seems like a genuinely nice person. His speciality, I think he is a diver. He must go into waterways and searching for people. I think he just finds people generally. But it was a really nice upbuilding conversation. He's a very optimistic guy. He's a little bit naive when it comes to government power. You know, he made a little dig towards people who are distrustful of the government. He goes, "Oh, you seem to think that the government knows everything and that they're everywhere all at once," which is sort of how I think about it. I do believe in limiting government power, right? But he doesn't realize that he lives in a country still, in a society still, where you're still managing to hold back the tide on your government from doing that. There have been periods in history where the government really is everywhere all at once at the same time. In your neighbour's house, spying on you, in your workplace, spying on you, putting you on a train and shipping you off for your ethnicity. You can't forget about those periods in history. And that's where someone like me, I'm just like, for me, it's really very obvious. They're always trying to categorize us. They're always trying to figure out stuff about us that is not for them to know. Our DNA, our biometrics. These are details that are not meant to be visible to the naked eye. Because, one day you might get a government that is not benign, that is not benevolent. We forget. Humans, we forget very quickly. So yeah, that's another thing that I listened to today while I was at the gym. And now I'm going to start thinking about what I'm going to make for dinner. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. I hope this was useful. It's for the algorithm. I am still trying to read Cesare Lombroso's Criminal Man. Of all the things that they could put on audiobook, and I don't mean LibriVox, I mean audiobook that I could buy, we could have had that one. We could have had that one. It could have saved me a lot of time. Anyway, nice to see you all again. Have a lovely day. Bye.